and this keyboard was supposed to be the key to life's purpose for me. Beautiful looking weight, included stabilizers, factory loop switches, and good looking keycaps, a unique finish, and not an yellow tofu. The sound is basically a 65% jelly epoch with full foam. Sounds great, but I wouldn't buy it. Let's get into why. The Zoom 65 is an all-in-one package that comes ready to go. It's a really attractive deal for people coming into the hobby. We've matured to a point where we do have affordable options, but some people may just have a hard time navigating the custom side of things and just want a nicer keyboard. Buying switches, keycaps, stabilizers, all separately makes it a very daunting task. We have seen a few all-in-one custom packages, namely from Novelkeys with the NK65EE Special Editions, the RFP, and Milkshake. Pre-built companies have also started moving toward a more custom configuration. They've often come all-in-one, keycaps, stabilizers, switches. Examples of this are the Keychron Q1, Q2, etc. Often they're just regular Gateron switches though. I will say the Equinix options are very nice for what they are, but they're often plastic keyboards. They do come with custom switches like the TCT Gold Pinks. So now that we have a short history of keyboards, here comes the Zoom 65. It's a gasket mount aluminum case, which brings it up above the competition, and it comes with a weight. Unfortunately, it's not a brass weight, but that's understandable for the cost. The switch choice is great. Jwicks are a great budget option, and these are factory lubed in such a way that there is minimal to no spring pain. It comes with licensed Olivia PBT keycaps. There's a heated discussion about clone, but this is an approved set, which means that the original designer gave the okay and may or may not be getting paid for their intellectual property. I don't know the exact deal. This is not factories just stealing keycap concepts and running it on their own and taking all the profit. It's very nuanced. Sure, they look to be just as scuffed as the clones, but it's about communication, compensation, and involvement in the process. If you personally don't have the budget for aftermarket GMK keycaps, don't ever buy aftermarket. You can get in-stock options in the form of extras, but it's still pretty expensive. You can get alternatives, they're often PBT. Canon-keys and Novelkeys are bringing a lot of options to the market, so wait for those. And I've heard that the designer for GMK Darling is going to be running a PBT version. And if you really like GMK Frost Switch, that's going to be rerun again soon. We haven't confirmed the material just yet. If you've been in the hobby for about 30 seconds and you specifically absolutely have to have the most popular GMK sets, then I don't know what to tell you. It's a very difficult discussion to have because I personally feel like a lot of people want to have everything right away. Even the people that have been here long can't even get things at a reasonable price, so we're all kind of screwed here if we rely on GMK. Luckily for us, designers are pretty much starting to look at alternative options because of the GMK Q. So what is great about this keyboard? It's all in one and does the keyboard job well. The sound is very thocky, very deep. That's a very popular sound and its gasket mount has a cool look. There's not really much to complain about on the surface. But why don't I like it? Well, the problem is the way that the board is configured. The internal screw design along with the flexible plate created a lot of clearance issues. The plate is just missing a lot of material at certain points, and to make clearance for these screws, it reduces stability. The standoffs are absolutely required, so that's not great because if you have a polycarbonate plate like here, the standoffs stop it from flexing. Kind of defeats the point, right? In my opinion, the PCB foam and case foam are required to keep this board together. It doesn't really stand up without it. We built it originally without standoffs, without PCB foam, without P foam, without case foam, and without stuff under the case foam. Sounded worse than a pre-built. The P foam, if used, is going to make the sound foamy like a jelly epoch. You may love that. A lot of people in the hobby are getting a little bit tired of that sound though, especially if you're going to go for a nicer custom. It's not really a bad thing, but it's a sound that can get quickly stale in my opinion. I'm already bored. The price point for this entire package is very competitive. At $179 before shipping, if you assume the stabilizers are worth $20, the keycaps are worth $50, the switches are about $20, the cable about $10, then you're left with a keyboard that costs about $79. And that's an aluminum keyboard gasket mount with aluminum weight. Yes, the shipping is expensive. Direct from Wutre, it's going to be more than $50 for a lot of people. Alternatively, you can buy from local retailers such as Canon-keys very soon. I think the price is valid for something that's not a GB nor a pre-order. It's in stock and you can grab it today. Kind of. It's very hard to get these because a lot of people want them, a lot of new people come in the hobby, and having it all in one is an amazing deal. But at the end of the day, the board sounds very typical. When you put in all the PCB foam, when you put in all the P foam, the multiple layers of case foam, it sounds like a DIY modded pre-built. but it looks way better. I'm gonna be honest with you, having the aluminum case with the special sparkly finish, having the aluminum weight, and having matching keycaps and the knob, amazing. If you watch build streams and YouTube review videos, I believe you're likely going to get tired of the sound very soon. If you want to just get one nice keyboard and get out, it's great. It's way better than the GMK Pro. It sounds just as good as the Q2. I would probably lean towards the Q2 because it's not reliant on as much foam. It sounds better than the Q1, but it probably sounds the same as the Q1 knob edition that has the force break mod integrated into it. And it has keycaps, so it's better than the KD67 Lite. It's better than the EK68 Aurora, but this is just a very crowded entry-level space. In my opinion, this board is great if you're an enthusiast that has friends or family that wants a keyboard. As for yourself, I think there are better options that are more configurable, that aren't as reliant on the foam itself. In terms of the build process, I really hated this build process because it's very finicky and very involved. So for the customer that's building their very first keyboard, I would recommend just buying the pre-build option, which costs a little bit more money. The time I spent on this is way more than whatever $10-ish for the pre-build option. Yeah, just go ahead and have them build it. And I will mention that the keycap legends are kind of gross when I'm used to GMK standards. The spacebar itself, also kind of gross. It just doesn't sound clean. Does what a spacebar should, which is goes up and down, but I quite enjoy my spacebar sounds in nicer keyboards or just in keyboards in general, and a bad spacebar sound makes me personally not want to buy it. So in my opinion, the one-dimensional sound, the difficulty in the build experience, the keycaps, while looking great, don't really sound that good. The alphas are fine. Although I wouldn't buy it myself, I think it's a great gift to give someone else. This is probably the most well-rounded package that we've seen yet, and it looks good. I think the hardest thing about pre-builds is you can get a decent pre-built, you try to find some switches, but the keycaps is usually the one thing that your recipient's gonna look at, and it's really hard to find cheap, authorized keycaps that look good. It's just the way things are right now. Things are changing, things will be getting better, but for now, this is a great gift option, but for an enthusiast, you can probably skip this one. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.